it is Tottenham against Leeds. Pivotal game. We'll know how the land lies at kickoff because Arsenal play West Ham on Sunday. But we're going to start off with our predicted lineup. Yeah, so let's get into the team news.
So for the team news, well, it says Richarlison injured. We don't know that for sure. It says on the graphic, but he's not been pictured in training, so we'll have to wait to hear what's happened there with Richarlison. Let's hope he's not injured. We know that Solanke is in a race to be fit for this game, but more likely to be fit for Stamford Bridge. Sarr is back, I think. Sarr's back. He was pictured in training, so I think he's going to be available for this one. We know Xavi is out for the rest of the season with his ACL. Vicario has not yet returned. He's not available for this one. Odegaard, Davis, Kudus, Kulusevski all out for the season. Maybe this could be the week Maddison makes his return. We'll have to wait and see. Bentancur, fears of him picking up an injury are subsided. He confirms he was just tired, so he's going to be all right for this game. But that's it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting with Richarlison because De Zerbi did say in the press conference that nobody's picked up fresh injuries.
Yeah.
Unless it's happened after the press conference. So we don't know.
It might have been, but the training's usually done after the press conference. Is usually done after training, and that training was from yesterday.
Yeah.
So he's not injured. I don't know. I don't think he should be on the graphic as injured, but he might be injured.
Yeah.
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh, so he is injured. We have heard he's injured.
Have we?
He said Football London says he's injured.
Really?
Injury unknown.
So he's injured or not? I haven't seen anything.
Chat? What's going on here? Chat, tell me. Is Richarlison injured? Has anyone heard in the chat?
Is Richarlison injured? I mean, I saw an update saying wasn't seen in training, but haven't seen any credible sources actually say he's injured. Yeah, Prem injuries are saying he's past fit.
Okay, interesting.
I think we assume he's fit.
Yeah, we're going to assume he's fit. But I don't like the fact that he might be injured. All right.
All right, well, let's get into it. 4-3-3, as per usual. In goal, we know it's going to be Antonin Kinski. Vicario, I think we've seen the last of him in the sweatshirt, to be honest. Something very suspicious about the way he's coming back from his hernia. He was supposed to be back the Brighton game, and he's not even back in training yet. So I don't know what's going on there, but we know Kinski's been very good, and he's going to start.
Yeah, I do wonder whether, given the double thing of Kinski's form, his potential pre-agreement with Inter Milan, has there been a decision to be made, like, okay, we're just going to go with Kinski and Vicario's going to be out of the squad now, because maybe it becomes more of a story of Vicario's on the bench, potentially. I don't know if there's something to that, or maybe he genuinely is just still injured and not fit enough to play. But look, at the end of the day, Kinski has been doing really well. I think everyone's behind him at the moment. He's been absolutely fantastic since he's come back in the team. Hasn't made a bad step. So hopefully that continues.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think he might get a bit more tested in this game than he has done in previous with the form that Leeds are on. Right back, Pedro Porro. Again, I think in the last game he was fantastic, wasn't he? Against Aston Villa. He just had that, I don't know what it was. He just had that bit between his teeth against Aston Villa. He showed that real aggressive edge, and that defensive performance from him was just completely flawless. But we're going to need him in the offensive side of things as well. Yeah,
I think definitely did a really good job helping out Moani. Now, Leeds do play with wing-backs, so how that affects his role, I'm sure De Zerbi will have a big role to play in adjusting little things tactically. But I think Porro did really well last week, supporting Moani and just defensively dealing with Rodgers, and he's going to have to be at his best again.
Yeah. Right centre-back will be Kevin Danso. Obviously, Romero's out injured for the rest of the season, so Danso stepped in. And look, it's not been without mistake. Obviously, we know that mistake last time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, which was, a detrimental one. But I think by and large, he's been all right.
Yeah, I think he's been pretty good. I think he's made a mistake in each game, but I think at the end of the day, he's come in and done well. And I think he's stepped in credibly. And I think they're going to try and aim for Calvert-Lewin, and I think Danso's going to be the one to try and make sure he's bullying him. And I think that's one thing he's done very good. Crosses in the box, he's dealt with them fantastically, and blocking shots and things like that. He's done a very good job doing those kind of things.
Yeah. Left centre-back, captain Mickey van der Ven. As mentioned before, different air about Mickey van der Ven since De Zerbi's come in. We've heard that potentially he might be open to signing a new contract now De Zerbi's here. And he's definitely playing that way as well.
Yeah, we're just going to have to make sure we stay up, and then we've got a fighting chance of keeping him. But he's definitely playing like a new motivation about him. There's renewed belief within him about how we're playing. I think that's the main thing. I think he had lost belief, and he had kind of lost his way. And I think this is the Van der Ven we know and love over the last few games.
Yeah. And then to make up that back four, I assume it's going to be Destiny Udogie, but there is a case for Jed Spence. But yeah, I mean, there is, just because of Udogie's injury problems. But I assume it will be Destiny.
Yeah, he did play 90 minutes, so we've got to be careful with him, don't we? But I don't think we're not going to play him. I think he's too important. One thing I've noticed that in the kind of inversion of Udogie at times is back, it seems, and he seems to be at times playing as a striker, if you notice. Now I noticed this against Sunderland when in that moment where he got fouled on the edge of the area and he should have threw on goal. But I remember De Zerbi called him over to the side. He whispered something in his ear, like gave him some instruction, and then he literally a few seconds later he made that run, which he was through on goal on, and we should have got a free kick for that. And obviously it was causing problems. Now he did the same thing against Villa, made that run from out to in, and was nearly found. I think the ball from, I think it was Paulina, just in front of him. So clearly he's been told to make those runs on occasion and ask different questions at the back line. And I think those kind of things Leeds could struggle with, because they're going to be very settled, and we're going to have to disrupt them somehow. So I think those kind of runs will be helpful.
And you know what? I liked Jed Spence's cameo as well, coming on at right wing. I thought he looked pretty dangerous when he came on. So I like that kind of thing, that we can use Jed Spence maybe as a right winger later in the game, because the pace that he's got against tiring legs, I think it's a great tool to have. So that's the back four that we're going to go for. No surprises there. Moving into the midfield, the first midfield that we will talk about is Rodrigo Bentancur. Fantastic, obviously, since coming back from his injury. And yeah, I think in an ideal world, coming back from such a long injury, you don't want to use him as much as we have, but we have to at the moment. And, he's playing very well. Yeah,
to be fair, I think in some games, I think for the Sunderland game and the Villa game, he only played an hour, didn't he? So, not the Sunderland game, the Brighton game. The Brighton game and the Villa game, he only played an hour. So, he hasn't been playing 90 all the time, but yeah, he's obviously come in and just automatically become our most important midfielder immediately. And I think in this game against Leeds, they play like a 5-3-2 system. And so there's a lot of focus on that midfield to be very energetic. So if we can bully them in that midfield, cut off the supply to the front too, I think that could be very, very crucial. And I think Bentancur is going to have a crucial role to play in this one.
Yeah. So now alongside him, it's going to be, look, you've got Archie, you've got Lucas, you've got Pape, you've got so many options. You've got Paulinia, you've got Bissouma. I think it will be João Paulinia, because João Paulinia was just so pivotal in that game against, in the last game against Aston Villa, and obviously scored the winner against Wolves. So in the last two games, he's been so important. Bissouma was the favoured one before the game against Villa, but I think Paulinia, it's got to be Paulinia for me.
It will be, and I think he obviously earned his start with the goal against Wolves, and then came in and grabbed that opportunity with both hands. De Zerbi's been talking him up so much over the past couple of games, saying how much he loves him after the Villa game, and then now saying 100% he wants to keep him around. So I think you can't take him out the team when he's got a bit of momentum behind him. I do feel like this kind of game might be a bit more difficult for him per se, because I think Leeds might get closer to him than the Villa players did, so he might have less time on the ball. So you might have to adjust a few things, but I think
that rotation switch between him and Porro will be vital in this game.
Yeah, I think so as well. But I think him from set pieces, we know he's obviously a massive threat, and actually had a long shot against Villa as well, which nearly went in.
Hit the post, yeah.
So yeah, I think he's going to be crucial. I do have a feeling he might be the first midfielder removed if we're not winning in this one, but I think he'll get the start.
Yeah, and then to make up that three-man midfield will be Conor Gallagher. Best performance in the Spurs shirt last time out against Aston Villa. And if he can bring that into this game, such a vital player to have.
Yeah, I think the amount of running he put through was immense, and with the fact that Leeds play a back three, you know a lot of the reason why teams play a back three is to give themselves more option and build up, so that they have more time in the ball. So I think Gallagher, De Zerbi said when he's in the form he was against Villa, he's like having an extra player. He's going to need to be like that in the build up to put that Leeds back line under as much pressure as possible.
Because I think we're coming up against a team who do the most running in the league in Leeds. So, you know, we're going to have to combat that with even more running. And Conor Gallagher is definitely a player who can do that. Left-hand side of the attack, I think Matisse Tell. I think he had a very good performance against Aston Villa. And let's hope he can provide more of a goal threat this time.
Yeah, and he's not going to be up against... Well, he's going to be up against Bogle, I think it is. Up against Matt Cash last time, had some pretty good joy against him. And obviously up against a back five now, so that means potentially up against a wing-back and then a covering centre-back behind him as well. So that can make things a bit more difficult. But if De Zerbi's smart enough with his rotations, if he can isolate that one of those players, I think I can see him getting more joy in this game than even he did against Villa. And I think, obviously, the Leeds game, he got his first goal of the season in that game earlier in the season, didn't he? Playing up front, it was.
Yeah. So, right-hand side, I think I sat here in this chair last week and I said, anyone but Mawani. Anyone but Mawani. Let's shoehorn Bergvall on the wing just so we can't play Mawani. But I think what he showed against Aston Villa... Look, I don't think it was the best performance by any stretch of the imagination, but he definitely contributed to that win. And I think he was hard to handle at times. So I think he's earned his spot for this game. So Mawani on the right.
Anyone but Mawani to only Mawani. Only Mawani we can play. No, I'm joking.
It's true, though.
Yeah, it's true. I think, he has to play. I think he's the only one who can maybe stretch a backline with his pace. I think he's the only one we have. So I know he's not been great.
Well, Tell can.
Tell, I don't think he's as fast as Mawani.
He's still fast, though. He can still stretch a backline.
Yeah, but I feel like Mawani... Yeah, mate, you're right. I think Mawani's the one who gets in behind more times, though. Tell kind of likes to be on the ball a bit more. I feel like Mawani likes to get in behind like that.
He does.
So... It gives us like a bit of a dual threat, different kind of threats. Just read that Goodmanson is injured, so not going to have their first choice left back there. So hopefully Moani can get at them again like he did Maatsen.
And then up front, Richarlison, if he's not injured. There are rumours floating around. He wasn't seen in the training footage, but we haven't heard he's injured, so can't assume. So we're going to say Richarlison.
We are going to say Richarlison. He's our top goal scorer, and he's one where I think he just pops up, doesn't he? And as much as sometimes he can be out of the game for long periods, if we keep giving him supply, he will pop up with a chance for a goal potentially. And I thought he was brilliant against Aston Villa. Well, at times he was brilliant, especially in the first half. I would say, he was brilliant with his pressing. That's what I meant. Brilliant with his pressing. Worked so hard. And obviously he got his goal. If he is out, what would we do if in the event that he is injured?
Bergvall. I think that's the only option we got.
Bergvall,
put Tell up front, or Mawani up front, put one of them up front and put Bergvall in.
Well, given what he did against Villa, would it be potentially Tell down the middle, Mawani off the left and Spence on the right?
Could very well be that, to be fair. And to be honest, I think I'd prefer that. I think I'd prefer that.
I think he might do that because I think he wants that pace. I think he wants that pace in the
yeah, I agree with that line. Actually. I do agree with that. Look, let's talk about James Maddison quickly because he's been pictured in training looking absolutely fantastic. I mean, he looks ready, doesn't he?
He does, and that's what Zerbi's been saying. I'm looking at him; he's brilliant, and he seems physically ready. He's just maybe not ready with that rhythm, intent, and intensity. But let's hope this is the weekend, or the game, I should say, that we can finally get to see him because he's going to be such an important player once he's back ready. I don't expect, obviously, him to be back to his best by any stretch, but if you can imagine him coming back into the team and then coming on, great reception, and imagine he does have an impact, the confidence that will give him that he can definitely go straight away. Because I think the biggest thing when you come back from an injury like that is psychological. Do you doubt yourself? Am I ready? Am I back to my best? Can I take people on I used to? Can I make those passes? And if he comes on and has that immediate confidence boost, that could be massive for him.
I think he will come on. I really believe that we're going to see him on Monday night, and it's going to be a great moment to see him back on that football pitch. But look, that is the lineup that we're going for Monday night, under the lights, against Leeds. Kinski in goal, Porro right back, Destiny Udogie left back, Danso and Mickey van der Ven at centre back, João Palhinha, Bergvall and Conor Gallagher in the midfield, Richarlison up top, Moani on the right, and Tell against left. And that's unchanged, isn't it? That's completely unchanged from Aston Villa.
And yeah, he was asked about him in the press conference about changes and stuff, which is, Conte said. He said, look, I'm going to change a few things like structurally, but in terms of basic information, it's all going to remain the same. I'm not changing too much. And I think we've got something that worked against Villa, so I don't think he's going to want to change it.
Yeah, absolutely. So let us know what you think of that lineup. Do you think it will be unchanged from the Aston Villa side going into this pivotal game against Leeds? And let us know your score predictions as well. Both of us, I think, have both gone for 2-1 to Spurs. So let's hope that we can get the 3 points this weekend. Is so vital, isn't it? It's so vital. But let's get into it. Let's get straight into the match preview. We'll bring up